Hello everyone, Corn here, and welcome to my channel. It's very early in the morning, and I thought, I'm going to do a different type of video today. I want to show you, first off, what a mess, let me show you, what a mess my desk usually is when starting a project. This is what's thrown over here, and underneath this huge pile is my little template that I made out of my Cheerios box for, remember, my little pocket that I put in some cards. And I'm always trying to find different new ways to send flat mail these days because, as you know, when we ship out our projects, sometimes that costs quite a bit of money, and I'm doing the clip and ship these days. So that costs quite a bit, so I'm always looking for ways to do flat mail. And if you all saw my haul, I went to the Rubber Buggy, which I really like that site for crafting items because they really are trying to please their customers, and I appreciate that. And so I got one sheet of 12 by 12 paper, if you all saw that. It's Laser O Love. I'm not familiar with them, but that's who did the papers. Very nice, and it was just a bunch of darling drawings of, I think it's gelato, and ice cream, of watermelon flavor, and then watermelons, and then I think the flower is a hibiscus, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And what I do when I start a project is, of course, like we all do, we shop our stash. What have I got? And that's why this this comes out. I go to, first started fussy cutting everything out. And I know it is so much easier and so much fun to have your ephemera just already cut and ready to roll, but it saves a lot of money, doesn't it, to fussy cutting? I've seen on some lives, some of you say, I hate fussy cutting. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do, especially with my poor eyesight. It's really not a lot of fun, but at the same time, how cute! Look how cute! And yes, would I like to have this right about now, even though it's early morning? Yes. And I need to tell y'all something. I thought this was hilarious. Handsome, when he came in the other night, oh, by the way, I was fussy cutting night before last, yesterday morning, and then last night, because I put it aside just to keep doing it over and over. It's like, okay, I'm not having fun now. But yeah, it took a while. But, oh yeah, and here's some escape watermelon that ended up with these papers. See, have you ever done that too, where you're like, oh mercy, and you're looking for something, a piece of ephemera, and then all of a sudden you find it in a stack of papers? But, so that I did off and on, and this is why my projects take so long. Number one, I'm a slow crafter, and then I admit that, I own it, it's all good. But at the same time, I'll think, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. And I'll just stop what I'm doing and go to something else. And then I'll be like, okay, while you're thinking about this, do it, because you're going to forget about it later and you're going to say, what was I going to do with that paper? Or what was I thinking of? So that's my process. It's not this smooth, beautiful way. I'm like, do this, oop, now do this, oop, now do this, oop. So that's what the video is about today. And here's the thing, another thing. Like I said, quite a few of y'all out there say cards. Cards ain't my thing. Cards elude me. I see I make the card base and I'm like, what now? So what I wanted to say is, yes, when I first started out with paper crafting, no, I didn't make my card base. And yes, I still sometimes do this because of the, let me see so I don't have too bad of a reflection off the light. You know, the Hot Buys, I've had this, I think, 2 years. But, of course, with these solids, y'all gonna laugh. There are times where I just use these on projects. I cut them up. They're never used as cards. But in the beginning, that's what I did. I was like, I have no desire to even make a card base, you know. I'll grab a base and then just go for it. Well, and then you realize, okay, if they're going to, let me see, is this, oh, this is one I did make. The ones that open like this. And there are so many different kinds of cards we can make with the gatefolds and the easel cards, and there's just so many. But let's be honest, when someone makes a card for us, do we have to have it the most fancy card in the world? No. Are we very grateful that someone sat down, thought it out, thought about me, and sent me a card? I mean, not trying to be cutesy-wootsy here, but I mean, isn't that the bottom line? I think it is for most of us. It's not like, oh, well, that doesn't have a fancy fold. Well, the folds are fun. I'll be honest with you. There's some really cool things out there, and I'm thinking about branching out even in this set because of this ephemera. Because with a gatefold, I've already folded this one, but with a gatefold, let's see, my scrap piece of paper I saved for a reason. Let's use this. This is paper. Let's do that. So with a gatefold, and of course this is just me goofing, you know, because you would measure it out and you would, you know, do everything right. This is just me playing. But with the gatefold like this, which I think is an adorable card, I really do. And of course, a lot of times you'd put a die cut here, a larger one to write on. And I saw these, not on YouTube, I saw them in an old magazine I got in a thrift store. But see, to me, it just lends itself, that watermelon. You know what I mean? To adhere to one side, and so you open it up, and then there's a die cut here, and maybe a little watermelon here or here, or something like that. So I will be doing one of those. But because I just thought, as soon as I saw the watermelon, I was like, oh yeah, it needs to do that. It needs to open up like that. And plus, I've always wanted to do a gatefold, because I think there's so, I've done the, what is it when you're in, out? What is that one called, y'all? Similar to this. And like I said, nothing's been measured or anything. So this is just me goofing. There's it. I've done this a lot, just even to write on, much that, you know, in a larger size for a card. But there's so many folds you can do. So many great ones. But here's the thing. Just this one is fine. It's fine. Or going this way. You know, you don't need a fancy fold, I don't think. But, so, what was I going to say? Oh, but here's one thing I did. See, here's another. I pulled this ribbon because I got that for 75% off, by the way, at Hobby Lobby some time ago. Grabbed this washi because I thought, ooh, little glitter, and it's pretty and it matches. I always grab this because I just recently washed my mat, but I still somehow get glue all over it, and I saw it in my last video and I was like, well, that's not pretty. So this is my thought process, you know, do this, then go to something else. Now, my going to something else was this time to make the pockets to go inside my flat mail to send some ephemera out. I was looking at these, and as you see, I grabbed this one. I'll be honest with you, these are very bright colors, and if you all know my channel, you know that I don't work with super bright colors a lot. I don't do hardly any tropical or summer or anything like that because Even though I'm from the South, I'm not a summer hot tropical baby. I like it a little bit cooler. Although I love the South. Temperature-wise, right now, I do not envy anyone in the South right now. But what I did, so here's a bright one. I was like so happy to find this bright paper because I hardly had any. I did pull this from a scrap pack that I got, which is just a little bit lighter. I thought that looked great. So I was like, okay, I can make pockets out of this. So I ended up just cutting this in half, and you'll see here. And see, that's another thing. If you get these cards and you're like, I'm not into card making that much, use them. Just, you can actually, because I paid $5 for a box of 80 sets, okay? And because they're normally 20, and they were on sale. So use them. Otherwise, use them as punches and dies. Just use them because it's nice cardstock, and like I said, it gives you colors that you wouldn't normally work with. Cut it right down the middle, which is 2 3/4, and then started working on my pockets. So see, you can make your own little pockets here to put your ephemera in. And then I grabbed this paper, and I don't remember which paper pad it's from because it reminded me of a picnic blanket. I know a lot of times we do the red and white chick, but not with all this hot pink and lime green. I wanted different. Plus, when I did my little paper, let's see, you can't see that, what I call my watermelon paper here, it's just a matter of, this is just a strip of this cardstock, and in pencil first I went ahead and did my little seeds because knowing me, excuse me, knowing me, if I put seeds where I don't want them to be, then I'm not happy, and I didn't want to do that, so I do it in pencil first. And I know how watermelon seeds are supposed to look because, yes, being a southerner, I have spit many a watermelon seed. Yes, we used to have contests when we were children who could spit the furthest. Now, sometimes you'd win an extra piece of watermelon. But you know how I interrupt myself? That says it all. I interrupt myself, and I interrupt my crafting. Like I said, I'll be in the middle of this, and then I'll think, ooh, cut that and make pockets. Do this, do that, do this. That's the way I work. Let me know in the comments if y'all do the same, or if you all are just, no, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. That's cool. But I'm not like that. Wish I was. Because then, like I said, I'm in the middle of this, and then I go out, and I said, I know I must have something tropical. And I did have, I think this is Sizzix. I think this is a Sizzix die. And I was like, oh, great, even though it's yellow, and I wasn't going to draw yellow into this. It's tropical. It's pineapples. So just did, got the paper from, do you remember that little teeny tiny paper pad that Miss Sparkle & Co. put out? That's where this comes from. So did these to put inside, you know, give them a little ephemera. Let's see. With this, of course, just your circle punch so that the receiver can pull the ephemera out. And I wanted to do something different here, and I called Handsome, and I said, which one do you like better? And he was like, I like the circle better. And then when I showed him why I did the triangle, I said, look. So many times people cut their watermelon into triangles. You know, and he was like, okay, I like that better. So I do both. So then I did this lime green, and I was like, okay. I haven't glued anything down. I'm playing. I think we all do that. We all set things down and say, yes, no, this works, this doesn't, ick, love it. You know how we do. And so then I went, let me see. Then I grabbed, no, that's a card I made. Oh, well. That's another card I made. Oh, here's one I didn't. Okay, this was in the pack, too. okay? One thing you will discover, or at least that I did, when you do get the packs, they're not always folded so that, you know what I mean, that sometimes you have to trim them down, usually with your scissors, because it's just a little bit off and you're like, taking teeny tiny slivers off. But with this fussy cut, now I know that I could come in here, I know I have some white left, but I also know that if I leave that teeny tiny sliver of paper, it's not real happy with me. And I know we can take our X-Acto knives and come in here and do that on our cutting mat and stuff. But I'm known to cut myself quite a few times. And Toby, our daughter, got me this, said, Mom, use this. And I was like, okay, there you go. It's great. It's fantastic. It's Fiskars. I like it. But I find myself still going too far. And then if I go too far with the cut, I'm unhappy. So, can't do that. So, like with this, let's say, okay, I don't like to do cards, but I'm going to do a card for my friend. Okay. So, instead of, well, I can use that as an example, or I can show you something else that I put together. Here's that same card that I made my pockets out of, okay? So after fussy cutting this out to the point where, see, here's where it gets super little, and I'm like, no, I've got white there. So what I normally do is put it on a white background, okay? So here's the card. You can go so or like so. And I was like, well, since we're going up so high, I'm gonna do this. I need to turn my fan on, y'all. Sorry for the noise. So go like so. Then I was like, well, isn't that cute and dull? But see the white, and this will probably be up on foam. That's another reason why I'm not going so skinny. Instead of just gluing it all down, I'm not quite sure. But it might be up on foam. I'm not sure yet, depending on how much I put on the inside of the card, you know. So then I said, let's do little strips. Let's just cut little strips and give it a little border like so. And I said, well, that's still, I like it, but I still will probably do something here and here on the white. That's why I was pulling this, but I don't like it on there, to be honest. And I'll do something. I'm not sure what. Maybe even brain in ribbon or something like that. But to me, tropical, I'm like, I don't know about ribbon, don't know about washi, don't know. But that's just something you play along with, right? And in fact, that goes like that. My ice cream cone would have melted and dripped all over everything, right? And doesn't that look delicious? So, it doesn't, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be fancy or super fancy. Handsome loves these colors. I think I've interrupted myself for the third time. See, this is how I craft to urge. And you'll see over here, because I'm trying to save my mat, that's stuck over there. But Handsome came in and saw me cutting up these night before last. And he said, I really like those colors. I said, I do too, actually, together. And he said, I'm going to get us a watermelon. So we get a watermelon today. The power of suggestion. I thought that was so cute. At first I was like, yeah, you just thought of that, honey? You're craving watermelon? And I know how y'all like, well, not everybody, but some of y'all like some of my stories. And one little fun story, speaking about spitting watermelon seeds for contests. When we were living in Germany, we did not live on the base. We lived amongst the villagers, and there were some teenage neighbors who thought that Americans were quite interesting. And so when we love watermelon all the time, but of course in the summer is when it's most plentiful. And so we had gotten a very large one and invited the kids over. And There were little children on one side and teenagers on the other. Well, the little children, after a while, because they couldn't spit but so far, were like, I'm not having fun, and did something else. But the teenagers were fascinated because we really did have, a section here. If you make it over this line, you've won and everything. And at first they thought we were just a little bit weird for spitting, that. And maybe that is crude. I don't know. When you're little, of course, we weren't little at all. We were adults doing this, but we still thought it was fun. And we thought they might think it was fun. And they did. They got so into it. I mean, they were being very competitive about, I'm going to win. And so, and actually they did. They actually did. But I guess my little story, even though there's not a wonderful punchline, is that cultures-wise, you can, even if it's an odd little fun thing to do, you can cross over and have fun and not be such a stick in the mud, I guess is what I'm saying. I guess that's what I'm saying. We can also do this like this too. And I guess I just wanted to show you guys that some fun can be had in going out. Like I said, this is not my thing, as most of y'all know, this to do tropical. But it's so summery. It is just so summery, and the artist did such a beautiful job of drawing the drawings and everything that I wanted to go this way for my summer cards. And I know I'm in the middle of summer to get my summer cards out, but, well, kind of near the beginning, but not the beginning. A lot of times I think it's fun to say happy summer on, June 21st, but I just wanted to wish everybody, or not everybody, but those I could, a happy summer, especially at this time, because this is such an odd time for the world, not just our country, but for the world. And this is my way of saying, yeah, we're dealing with some stuff, that's for sure, but happy summer to you. And like I said, it's going to take me a while because I'll be doing one thing, then I'll go to something else, and then something else after that. And most of the time in the middle of what, of doing something, that's why a lot of times you all will see things already done, and then I do a craft with me on the last one, because it just takes me forever. And like I said, you see, this is just a big old mess, saying, oh, that could be a picnic blanket. That could be a picnic blanket. Oh, I like this with this, with this, with this, with this, And I want to thank you all for dropping by and seeing how I set things up. And I hope you guys have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Take good care.